Now, that was a spoof on someone not wearing a motorcycle helmet. What I'd like to talk to you today about is the need for a federally mandated motorcycle helmet law. Motorcycle accidents affect many different people in many different ways. Take, for instance, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. In June of 2006, just after he had won the Super Bowl, he decided to jump on his motorcycle and go for a cruise. He was riding a Hayabusa, one of the fastest motorcycles probably made today. He got on the motorcycle, not wearing a helmet, had not a care in the world. That wasn't until a lady pulled out in front of him. He goes flying through her windshield. I'd like to show you a picture of Ben Roethlisberger's motorcycle. What's left of it post the crash. Now, this is a picture of Ben Roethlisberger, the car Ben Roethlisberger hit. You can see here, this is where his head went through the windshield. His head and elbow both made it hit the windshield, and he sustained head injuries. Now, yes, he is fortunate to be alive. Then you take, for instance, actor Gary Busey. He was in a motorcycle accident where he wasn't wearing a helmet either. And to tell you God's honest truth, some people think today he's still not right. I don't know if that's from his motorcycle accident or not, but I'd rather not take that chance. On a more serious note, what I'd like to talk to you today about is the fatality rates of motorcycle accidents with individuals not wearing a helmet, and then the money it costs us American taxpayers to take care of these individuals who are in motorcycle accidents and refuse to wear a helmet. So first, let's get started with the fatality rates of people who don't wear motorcycle helmets. From 1990 to 1999, the fatality rates steadily decreased in this 9-year period. Most states had effective motorcycle helmet laws and were doing great jobs in making sure people were operating motorcycles safely. Much like the individuals in a car had to wear a safety belt. Now, folks on motorcycles had to put on the helmet. 1999, it reached the all-time low of 937 fatalities, which is pretty significant decrease. Then, once the states started repealing their given helmet laws, they weren't getting any extra money from the federal government or anything like that. What they decided to do, hey, you know what? We'll let the people do what they want to do on motorcycles, unless you're under the age of 18. But statistics show that under the age of 18 really means nothing, because, in fact, most of the motorcycle accidents or fatalities happen to individuals who are 40 or above. But anyhow, since they repealed their motorcycle laws, the fatality rate increased 127%. Then flash forward a little bit to 2006. The state of Maryland decides to re-implement their helmet law, and 5 other states joined. In these 5 states and Maryland, the fatality rate decreased by 30 to 50%. That's a pretty significant decrease in the fatality rate of people operating motorcycles. So now that we looked at the fatality rate, let's take a look at the money spent by us Americans for health care for individuals who refuse to wear a helmet. The average cost of care for an individual who did not wear a motorcycle helmet while operating a motorcycle is approximately $45,000. Now, with that being said, the individual only has to maintain a $10,000 insurance policy. That's a difference of about $35,000 we, as the American people, are out. Now, you could say, hey, what about people who operate with a motorcycle helmet on? Well, I'm here to tell you there's about a $30,000 difference. It costs them about $15,000 or $15,000 for their cost and their care. Plus, I don't think anybody wants to have brain damage or brain injuries, and that's key. Then over a 15-year period, from 1985 to 1989, disregard, 1999, the American people saved $13.2 billion, or about 880 million annually by people wearing motorcycle helmets. But that's a big number. Yes, it is. However, we could have saved even more. We could have saved an additional $11.1 billion over that 15-year period, or which equals about $746 million annually, if other cyclists would have been more responsible and put on the helmet. As you've heard, there are many advantages to the federal mandated helmet law. The facts speak for themselves. If there's a federal mandated helmet law, most American people probably would not be spending, well, let's face it, $11.1 billion is a lot of cash, especially today in this day and age with the battle over health care and whatnot. So, just remember, I talked to you about the fatality rates of motorcycles, people not wearing the helmet, and I talked to you about the money spent. Don't be, and all it is simply putting on the helmet and fastening it up. Drive safe.